Hello, I'm J-Dog, Jonn Karsseboom. You're watching the Garden Corner Show. It's the internet's most passionate, most authentic gardening show around. I'm here with Mr. Dave. We are also still very cold. How are you, Mr. Dave?
Doing great, John.
Doing good. We are on a time frame, a time lock, time pressure, because we've got to get this done and out, and Mr. Dave's got things to do today. But I want to make sure I get this warning out to you, because now we're going to get some freezing rain, possible snow. I'm not going to be the weatherman at all. I'm just relaying to you what the actual real weatherman has told us. And we're getting conflicting reports. I think here in the Tualatin, in the Willamette Valley, we're actually supposed to get we're going to get some precipitation, is what they call it. So expect some snow and some ice coming down. What I'm here for is to have what to do about your plants. There's a very narrow focus, so maybe this might not apply to you, might not even interest you. But if it applies somehow, maybe it can be helpful to you. We are going to winterize a palm, and there's some other plants I want you to watch out for too. I'm just going to show you real quick on how we go about winterizing palm for the weather. Now, best case scenario, anything you do for this helps it, increases its chances for survival. What I'm also concerned about is at the end of winter, on the nice side of springtime, is that our plants look really good coming out of it. So you can start enjoying it from day one when the sun hits. Now on palms, best case scenario is to bring them out of the weather. Anything you do, this is a windmill palm, and it is the hardiest of all the palms, but still needs a little bit of protection. So, especially if our containers are really dry. So, let me get started. I'm just going to chit-chat I'm going to chit-chat with you while I'm actually doing the work. I'm just taking some twine, and what I want to do on the palms is protect the foliage. Palms, like a lot of other, palms like a lot of other palms, always grow from the center. So our older foliage is on the very outside of it, and this is what will really weather the most. So one option to do is if you don't get around to it, after the hard winter is what we'll go through and start pruning out all of these old palms and let the new ones take over, and it'll be a fresh new batch for the summer months. But what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to preserve that. So I'm just going to tie a string around one of the palms, and I am just going to tighten all of these up, wrapping them in a really nice and tight stalk. And the reason why I'm doing this is just to protect any of that snow or ice that forms on it, so that it can handle that physical weight a little bit better. So we'll make that into a nice tight branch there. So I'm going to tie that up. How are we doing for time, Mr. Dave? 4 minutes? Oh my goodness. You got to be back. You turn into a pumpkin in 4 minutes?
Yeah, you're 4 minutes in.
Oh, I'm 4 minutes in. Okay. 4 minutes. Okay, so I've got this tied up. Now, a couple different options that we can do we can be really big overachievers. We can be really big overachievers and actually wrap them in Christmas lights. Now, these are small lights, and they're not the LEDs. You don't want to use the LEDs. They don't give off any warmth. So we can use these mini icicle light types and wrap it around. It certainly gives it a little more heat. On palms, our big thing is we've got to protect that trunk. So no, this is a very small palm. I don't care if you have a 6 foot, 8 foot tall trunk. That entire trunk needs to be wrapped and protected. So great if you can do a lot of lights around it. Now, mini lights don't give off much heat, but on the other hand, they're very, very safe. If you go with some larger bulbs, like the C7, C9s, those give a lot more heat. I'm a little bit more concerned because I put the lights on first, then we wrap it. And C9s definitely give off a lot of heat. Let's not do those. C7 would probably be the largest bulb you want to use. So mini icicle lights certainly help. Okay? We're not going to be overachievers this time. It's a couple different materials. This is just a tacking material that we can use, and we can wrap that around this way. And what we want to do is do several layers of that. One option, this is just a foam, I think it's called an open cell. Yeah, it's an open cell foam packing. You can get this at the UPS store, actually any office, I think any Office Depot as well. And certainly you can get it here at the Garden Corner, of course. Now, so one option to do is just to do that. So, other option is to do bubble wrap. Now, really, it does not matter a whole lot to do whether you do these big bubbles or small bubbles. What? Let's try this. Let's actually try it real live. Is to wrap this. I am going to cut a slice of it. And you know the neat thing about bubble wrap is that it also can be very entertaining. I know you guys, some of the fans, this is what we're doing on Friday night, is actually just watching these videos. So now, first layer I do, I've got the flat side to the trunk. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cut it here. All I was going to say is that bubble wrap can be very entertaining just for popping the bubbles, but that's a whole nother entertaining video in itself. So I'm going to cut this real quick. Cut, 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 cut. 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 Okay, so I'm gonna, this isn't much. Let's do this. So I've got that flat side, bubbles out, first go around. And I'm gonna wrap that, and I'm going to use duct tape. Believe it or not, this is duct tape. It's just the white duct tape. Okay, I'm gonna wrap that up. And our next go around is, I'm going to just do it just the opposite. So the the outside of it is the flat side and the bubble wrap is to that way. So then we're going to wrap it this way. So, and we're going to wrap it that way. You kind of get the idea on that. Now the more layers you do, certainly the better. And if you do it nice and neat, I can tell you, your neighbors will appreciate it as well. But heck, now doesn't that look very snug? Now, this is just for palms. There are other plants too that you can wrap and at least protect. And I want to make sure at least you get that. So we've got that. Tighten it up real nice. Take a look, Mr. Dave. Phormium's a big one to protect. Snow, ice makes them flat. No good. So definitely tie these guys up if you have to. If you've got them in the garden, tie them up real tight. That will prevent them, all that ice and snow from smashing them down. Best case scenario, of course, is to remove them out of the weather if at all possible. Other ideas to do is to build a little teepee out of bamboo stakes and wrap that, and that keeps that protected too. Because phormium, some of you have some really large ones, and some of them are very small. So you can judge for yourself on that. Another thing to watch out for is on any of the arborvitaes. Now, if you haven't trimmed those, that'd be great. We're going to do some videos on trimming arborvitaes, by the way, and why we should do that. This is a type of thuya, by the way. This is called green sport. It's a big guy. Now, what happens on arborvitae? So it's not really the arborvitae, the smaragd that you're normally used to. It's just a different type, bigger spray. But what happens is those lazy arms come out in that snow and then really really can damage them. So we want to trim those up. Sometimes tying them would be great if you just have one or two. Trimming, best bet for that. I don't think we have enough time tonight before the snow gets here. Anyway, I hope that helps. This is the show for the day. I'm J-Dog. Live your passion.
You see me